Okay. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. My name is Tim Begonis. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing here at D-Tools, and with me is Seth Enos, our Senior Manager of Professional Services. And we want to thank you all for joining us today for this webinar to review what's new in SI 2016 R3. And we'll get started in just a minute. Wait for a few people to join us here. Okay, let's get started. Again, thanks for joining us. My name is Tim Begonis. I'm VP of Sales and Marketing here at D-Tools. With us is Seth Enos, who's a Senior Manager in our Professional Services team. And we're going to walk you through all of the cool new features in SI 2016 R3. So a little housekeeping before we get started. I'm not sure if you've done a webinar with us before, but it's pretty easy. You guys can see what we're doing, and you have a way to minimize the dialogue on the right. You can ask questions. We will have a Q&A session at the end. But as you have questions as we go through, feel free to ask those questions in the questions box on the right-hand side of your interface, and we'll be able to get to those as we go. If you want to make more room on your screen, there's a little arrow on the right here, and you can click this and give yourself more real estate. Okay. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to do just a brief overview of some of the new features and enhancements in R3. I'm going to hand it to Seth, and we'll do a high-level run-through of some of these new features. And as I mentioned, we will do Q&A through the questions window. For those familiar with our solution, you know we are a data-driven solution, and our goal is really to streamline the way that you do your system design, your proposals, your estimates, documentation, and project management. Our process really helps bring together those disconnected workflows around the project from the beginning, from the data, from the catalog, to help track labor, to help track your pricing, and manage that through all the way to project completion, reducing time across the board, as well as improving communication amongst your teams, reducing errors, and really helping you create a very professional, detailed proposal, provide that detailed documentation for your teams and for your clients, and really improve efficiencies and profitability across all areas of the team. So we've got a number of new features in R3. This has been the third in our series of quarterly releases this year. So this is the third revision of this platform this year. The team's worked really, really hard, and we've added 20+ productivity enhancements. We're not going to go through in detail every single one. As you're familiar, if you've worked with us in the past, our releases tend to have a number of very significant new features and then a number of productivity enhancements. So some that we're going to be touching on today are going to range from improvements in the catalog, improvements in projects and reporting. We've added some additional features and productivity enhancements to mobile install, and then we're going to get into some of the enhancements that we've made in drawings, primarily the PDF Cloud Converter, which is a way to take PDFs of AutoCAD drawings and import those into Visio, maintaining resolution, being able to work with layers, and really making that process streamlined. If you've encountered this before in the past, you'll know that it can be very time-consuming and maybe the quality's not there. So we've come up with a way to seamlessly take any PDF of a floor plan, bring it into Visio, and it's really pretty cool. So I want to also talk a bit about our professional services offerings and support. Earlier this year, we started a professional services team with the main goal of helping our customers be more successful with the software. We've always had outstanding support. We built that team, and then we built the professional services team to add additional layers of implementation support, help with third-party integration support, help with custom reports, and provide a range of training options, whether it's online, on-site training, and we've done a number. We did 6 regional trainings this year, and really the goal through our support teams and our professional services organization is to really help our customers maximize their use of the platform, utilize all the features, and really realize a tangible return on investment. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Seth Enos, and he's going to walk through all of the improvements that we've made with R3.
All right. Excuse me. Hi, everyone. So as Tim mentioned, we've made a handful of improvements in this R3 release. The primary one, the exciting one, being the D-Tools PDF Cloud Converter. So we'll build up to that. I'm going to take this in a different direction than I normally do, and I'm going to start with the mobile install improvements, and then try to get a flow through the rest of this. We'll transition into some reporting enhancements, catalog improvements, project improvements, and then the Visio improvements as well. So mobile install, as some of you know, that this is our mobile interface for your technicians or your installers when you create tasks and service orders. And this is one product that we offer, I would say, that we probably get the most feedback on. It's one of the newest products, for one thing, but we get a lot of suggestions, and we're really keen on making those changes to try to make your workflow easier. So we'll go through some of these enhancements out here. And again, these come directly from client requests. Some of you on this call may see your request in here, something that you wanted. So if I go into a task, for instance here, what we've done is we've moved the pick list right to the items tab. That way you can get a little more granular. There used to be a separate pick list tab over to the side, and it just had quantities of the items. But now on the items tab, there's just a picked column here. And you're able to, you know, again, a simple example like this, you could select all, or you could pick and choose which ones are picked. And of course, just do an update here. You can mark them as picked, and if you make a mistake, you can mark them as unpicked. So if we mark those as picked, you'll see there. One other thing too, now we used to always just track whether an item was picked out here electronically in the mobile install interface, but that didn't tie back to the software. We didn't have a field for that over in SI. Now this does synchronize back down not only to the task, but also to the project file itself. So you can filter and search on whether items were picked or not. So that's a nice new improvement out here. Another improvement would be the site notes here. You get to choose who will be emailed in addition to your technicians. So if you have multiple technicians or installers assigned to a task or a service order, and they do add site notes, their email addresses will be here by default. But as you can see, it's little cursors flashing here. You can add anybody else in your company, or even outside your company, if you would like, to receive an email when site notes are added here to a task or a service order. So it's nice to give you a little more flexibility on that. And speaking of emails, there's a new setting out here for those daily reminders for your technicians. Notify installer when a task is republished, and it's also the same down here for service orders. So that's if you initially publish a task or a service order, and then you have to make a change to it. When you republish it, they'll be notified. In the past, they weren't notified if something was republished. So you get to have that option here if you would like to have them be notified. So again, just another improvement. Go back here to the dashboard real quick and back into a task. And the last improvement I'm going to talk about out here have to do with timesheets. Now, timesheets are optional. Again, that's under your Setup tab over here. You can enable timesheets for tasks and service orders, or you cannot. The big difference there would be if you don't enable timesheets, you're going to edit the hours directly here. There'd be an edit button. When you are using timesheets, it's a cumulative total. So that's what would add here. So if I go to timesheets and choose to add an entry, what we've added is start time and end time. It used to not have that. It was just a duration here, but now you can get even more granular to select this and actually enter a start and an end time. And that will all be part of these timesheets that, of course, are still exportable. You can always export a CSV of your timesheets here on a particular task, or if you'd like to do all of the timesheets within a particular date range, you would go up here, of course, to export your timesheet. That's all the same. The big difference now is that this information will track start time and end time. All right. One other enhancement we made has to do with the reports for tasks and service orders. So I'm going to transition over to reporting, but I'm going to first show you the field that is affected here. Let me go back over here to a completed service order. We'll go in here. And so this is a service order where there were site items that were added. And as you know, site items will synchronize back down to the service order or task as long as it's approved. You have to get a signature on that. So we've had this for a while out here, the approved field where the client can sign off on this work that was done here, in this case, the site items. Well, what we've done is we've added a report or two reports, one for service orders, one for tasks, that will display this signature, this electronic signature. Historically, or prior to this R3 release, that was an optional report you could download from our additional reports page out on our support site, but now it's built into the software. So I'm going to go I'm going to go to the interface, the SI interface, and I'll show you that report, and then I'll talk about a few other reporting enhancements. So I'm going to quickly jump over here to the service order, and that's the one we were just looking at out there. With it highlighted, if I go to reports, you'll notice that there's one that says service order with mobile install signature, and there will be a corresponding one for your task detail report that will say with mobile install signature. And we'll run and close this, and you'll see that signature that we just looked at there. If I scroll all the way down, as you can see, there it is. So that's now just a built-in report for you. So we got that. Some other reporting enhancements outside of scheduling, and outside of mobile install will be, of course, project-based. So let's pull up a project here, and we'll start talking about this stuff. So we've added project numbers to all of our reports now. It used to be hit or miss whether or not that field was there, so we've just redone them all. A lot of feedback comes in how important the project numbers are to you as clients. Maybe historically at D-Tools we've been thinking of project names, but obviously the number has, it does serve a very good purpose. So it's now automatically on reports. The other change that we did regarding reports is the auto numbering for report groups. So hopefully everyone's familiar with a report group, and that's a grouping of reports that basically builds one report here based off of all of these. We got a cover page, a profile. So here we have a standard proposal. Let's go ahead and run that, and I'll just show this. This is going to combine all of these reports into one document. Now, this isn't a new feature. We've had this one. The feature is when we do combine the reports, we auto number them, and it's hard coded how we generate that number, and it would always sit in the footer right in the center of your page. And we have, of course, users that are particular. They want it either on the right side of the footer or the left side, at the bottom right side. But since that was all hard coded, you couldn't just go into the designer to do that, because again, we're combining these reports in the background to generate this proposal, or this proposal package here. And so again, there's a report setting that you could click up here that will change where they display. And what I'm talking about is, if you see here, this page 1 of 31, 2 of 31. So that's what you can now move. Let me just go ahead and close out of this and just show you the report setting for this. If you go to groups, you can now have all of these options for where that displays. That was a big deal to quite a few of our users. So very, very cool new enhancement there. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about a change, some of the changes we made at the catalog level, and then we're going to come back to this project because we've got some stuff to add here and demonstrate. So I would say that probably the biggest change we made to the catalog, let's pull up the interface here and go look at our managed products here, is the ability to now globally assign a system to products in your catalog. Systems used to be assigned at the project level, just like locations are. Locations, of course, are always going to vary, but based on feedback from you, our users, it became clear to us that, look, once I have my systems that I do establish, it's rare that I'm going to change equipment. Now, you certainly could. Like, there could be a piece of equipment that you've assigned to, say, audio video system, but in a particular project you want it to be part of whole house audio system or another name. That's perfectly fine. But in general, you may have them pre-assigned to something out here. So let me go ahead and show that. Let me just do a quick search here in my database. And if I open up this product here, it's now just a field that displays as part of the product here. You see system is now on the general tab, and you can choose from your systems here, and of course the manage here will allow you to add systems, and this looks at your stock list of systems you've created. So now what will happen if you add this to a project, depending on what you've selected in the drop-down, will determine the behavior of this system. So that's going to be something I'm going to show you in a second when we get back over to projects, actually adding these products that are pre-assigned systems. Another quick enhancement while we're here is we just made it very easy for you to change your search criteria right next to the search. Or you used to have to go up to settings and know where to find your search fields up here. Now it's just right anywhere there's a search field, you'll be able to click that and then again choose the fields that you want to search on throughout the interface. So there's a nice little quick enhancement there. Another one that we also added has to do with using price rules when a cost is changed. So again, I've got one product here selected. If I go to Tools and choose price rules for the selected item, if you have one that where the cost field is what's going to change, when you apply the rule, you're now going to be prompted for what to do. And the top option here is maintain the margin markup and recalculate the price, or you can maintain the price and recalculate your margin and markup. Each one of you, of course, will have your personal preferences on that, and this will remember your global setting, whatever you've set this to, but it's still a nice prompt when you are changing a cost field here. And this setting just, it does exist globally in the software. I'll just show you under your control panel, of course, but if I just open up a single item here and you go to your price tab, here's your price settings where you would pick your default. And this is global for all products, not just a single one. If that was my preference and I save that, that will remember that and keep that as your default. So anyways, very, very cool because when a cost change, you're going to be particular about what you want to do with that. So reset that. Let's go back to this project. And I'm still talking about that global system assignment now. Now, I'm going to add the part we looked at. So let's say I choose equipment room, and I don't choose a system here. If I don't choose a system and I add a product from my catalog that is a pre-assigned system, the system will add to this job. So let's find that part again. And that was assigned just AV system globally. So if I were to drag this into the project, AV system will add to my list. Now, of course, if I pre-select something over here like, oh no, this is going to be part of house-wide audio video system, that will override what's in the catalog. But just to show you that we will append this list, I'm going to leave that as unassigned and pull over this part to the job. And so that product not only was added to the equipment room, AV system was added to the system list. And you can see that it is assigned the AV system. And of course, if that's a mistake, you can go ahead and reassign that as needed to say, oh, no, it needs to be house-wide audio video system within this project. So very cool feature. Can save you some time there if you want to preset your systems. We also, some other project enhancements here. We added a expected delivery date. So if we go, say, here to tools and you look at your order status here, there's now an expected delivery date, and that works in conjunction with our purchase order system. That was a big request that we had. You know, there's the date you ordered it, there's a receive date, but then you also have the ability now to say an expected delivery date once you get feedback, of course, from your vendors/distributors. So it's a nice little feature that, again, based on requests that we added. Very cool new feature here is the ability to convert items to accessories and vice versa, taking an accessory and making it a single item. That second use case may not be as common, but let me demonstrate an example where I might add a product to my bill of materials here and then realize I should have added that as an accessory. Prior to this feature that we've added, you would have to then delete the item, open the parent product that has accessories, add the accessories, and then re-add the part, you know, even assuming you're doing drawings. So we're going to make this a little easier in this example. So what I'm going to show you here, let me just collapse my grid down a little bit. We'll go into the equipment room here. And what I have over on this drawing page in Visio, let me jump in here. Let's go to here. I'm going to zoom in. So I've got a product here, and I've got an HDMI cable attached to this. And so that's right here. We've got this product. It does have accessories. It's got one HDMI cable. What if I realize I need another one of these HDMI cables that I want to connect over on that drawing page? Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit because I'm going to drag straight to the page. But we'll pick equipment room. Part of house-wide audio video system. I'm going to add a product. And we'll do a quick search here. TTI. Let's grab another one of these, and I'm just going to drag it over to my drawing page. And it's, of course, going to drop my wire shape here that I can make my attachment here. And, of course, make any adjustments I want. If I want to pull this out a little bit or down, you can do that. So I've now added that. Now, this product was added to my bill of materials. And this is where I would say, well, wait a minute. What if I want to have that as an accessory to this part, just like the other HDMI cable that's attached to that? So now you can highlight any product in your grid here. And on the Tools tab, there's a convert option here. And in this case, the only one that's available is to make this item an accessory. Now, of course, if I had one of these selected, if I, for some reason, wanted this rack mount kit to not be a part or of this parent item, no longer an accessory, I just want it listed singly in this, you would have that option here as well. So, well, with this selected, let's go ahead and convert this. And then, are you sure you want to do that? We'll say yes. And this will pull up a list of what's in this project. You know, all your equipment. So you can do a quick search over here if you want, or we can do a pre-filter here where I know the location, for instance. Okay, it's in the equipment room, and it's this device. I found what I'm looking for. We'll select that item, and does a quick little refresh there. Now that part, this second HDMI cable, is now an accessory to this. Very, very cool feature to be able to change that on the fly, because maybe I don't want to show the details of these accessories. So rather than have that extra cable list out here individually like you know our software will do, when it is an accessory, you have the option of summarizing that on your client reports. So very, very cool new feature. All right, so some other features that I'm going to talk about have to do with Visio. One of those being the ability now to create an off-page reference shape for multiple wires at a time. You used to have to do it singly. You would select an item and then choose to create an off-page reference. It will now work with multiple items. Plus, we changed the off-page reference shape itself. So let's select a wire here, right-click, go to D-Tools, go to Wire, create off-page reference, and we'll do them both at the same time. I'm going to do a new page here. I'm going to call this one Distributed Video Schematic. And so we're going to create a brand new page. It's going to be of a schematic type, and we'll hit create. And what that will do now for both of those wires is add my off-page reference, and then of course it created my distributed video schematic page over here with the corresponding two shapes. So very, very cool new feature because you can do many at a time instead of individually. And if you have noticed, if you've been using this off-page reference shape, it's now linear. They used to stack data on top of each other, which made these it was a kind of a thicker shape, which made it difficult to stack them nicely on top of each other. That's a better example where you can see how close you can get. You can even get closer than this if you want to move that down. Before it was a little, like I said, a little too tall, if you will. So now everything is in a linear fashion. You can also change some of the, of course, shape data here, that you always could, but the new one is this major separator, minor separator, and your outline style. The major separator being this here, the minor being in between my parts of my input and or output, the terminal, the signal, and the label. You've got options here for what you want. That maybe you want colons between them or slashes instead of dashes. You can customize that however you would like. And then the outline style here, it's either full outline or just the chevron. Some people prefer that, so I did that with the top one there. You can see now just the chevron showing, no outline around it. But that was a big request to try to make these a little thinner. So again, on a huge drawing where you've got a lot of these next to each other, the off-page reference, you can stack them nicely on top of each other. And of course, the functionality still works here with the link. You see when I mouse over this, if I hold Control down and click it, it takes you over to the other page where that off-page reference is. So that's new. You can also now assign packages to, shapes to packages is what I meant to say. Before that, the package itself could never have a shape assigned to it. It could have a little JPEG thumbnail that could be used on reports, but nothing as far as Visio goes was representative of the entire package. Each individual part in the package could have its own shape, and still can, but you now have the ability, if you'd like, to assign a package a shape. So let me show you that. I'm going to pull up the project editor here. And I'm going to go look in the catalog. And as you guys know, if you're looking here, this is your catalog. So this is what's in the project. This is what's in my catalog. So if I double click this here, it's going to open it in the catalog for edit. And that's where you actually assign this. You don't assign these on a per project basis. It is a catalog setting, and you'll notice here that there's now a Shapes and Blocks button or tab. And when you click this, the default is add a shape or block for each item in the package. And what that simply means is if this package here is added to a project and you drag the package name over to a drawing page, it will drop a shape for every single item that is within that package. Now, that's not always going to be ideal. You won't always want to do that. There'll be bits and pieces in packages that you don't need shapes for. So we added a little more granularity here, where if you click this, you can select which items in the package drop. So in this particular media plate package, if we take a look at the items list here, you can see there's a back box, there's some inserts in here, there's a faceplate, and there's some wires. So what if I only want the faceplate and the wire to drop when I pull a package into a project? You now have that flexibility here where I could say, just specific items, and I would say, don't do the back box and don't do these inserts. But when I drag the package name, you'll still put my plates and my wires. Very cool. So that granularity is here. And then the newest real feature here, although that is new as well, this one here, is just add a single shape to represent the package. And this works for both line and plan pages. We don't have a scalable elevation one, obviously, because there's no dimensions on a package. It's a grouping of products. And then schematics, same thing. Inputs and outputs. I could have 20 devices in here with inputs and outputs. But on a line diagram, which is the, of course, the JPEG page in Visio, and the plan view for floor plans, you can assign a shape here directly for this. So if I wanted this entire package to be represented by, say, a triangle, when I drag it over there to a plan view, you hit assign, and then you would pick a shape from your library of shapes here. This is your stencil tree from Visio, and I could go to general floor plan, and I know there's a triangle in here. I could pick my triangle icon, hit assign, and now that's been assigned to this package. So if we save that, and let's go ahead and go to a plan view page here. And let's drag it over. Let's say that this is going in, to be proper, say the living room, part of my IT and network system. Let me shrink this a little bit. Go ahead and pull this over here. And it's on a plan view, so it drops my little triangle icon. Just one thing to represent that package. So very, very cool new feature. Again, you could never do that before. Now you can. So we also did some enhancements to some of the wire shapes. We were looking at wire a second ago, so let's go here, just take a look at this wire. The enhancement on the finish wire shape has to do with the handle here, where you see show text positioning handles. The default is false, but when you set this to true, this little yellow icon appears. Let me zoom in. It's a control handle, and I can really move that wherever I want on the wire. It used to kind of be locked down at the, you could set it to be the end, the middle, both ends and the middle, but you couldn't move it after that. It was just kind of stuck there on the end of the wire. Now you can move it if you turn on those handles. So that's a cool little enhancement there. Now on a plan view page, which we're about to get to when we do our PDF cloud converter, especially, that's for plan views. Let me go ahead and pull a wire over here and show you that there is a new approach to these shapes as well. So if I'm going to drop this wire over here from that package, they look a little different. If you recall, these used to look like, by default, little pigtails is what I would always call them, little squiggly line. And you can see here you've got a control handle there, you've got text handles there. But if you look at the shape data for this, you can choose how many arcs this now has, up to 3. So if I put 3 arcs in this, it'll give you a squiggly. The 2 arc here would be the old little pigtail method there. And it gives you control handles on these, of course, to be able to make it a little more flexible on how you have these wires display on your page. If you pull that down and make it look a little more dramatic like that one, you have all that flexibility now. You can even make it a straight wire right here if you wanted to. So, and that will help when you're doing stuff like local loops within a project, speaker to speaker, or lighting fixtures to lighting fixtures. It adds a nice little swoop versus the old default 2-arc pigtail. So we give you the flexibility there. And of course, you've got some settings in here for changing the head end text factor versus this one over here. So, and that's some wire enhancements that we made. But now what everyone probably came for is the D-Tools PDF Cloud Converter functionality that we've added in as an add-in to Visio. So then again, that's for getting floor plans, PDF floor plans into Visio really seamlessly and to scale if you want to put them into scale. There are times when you're going to get a scaled drawing, or it's going to be a drawing that indicates its scale, and you'll be able to put those into scale. You don't have to, and I'll describe that as we go through it, but you can. That's the beauty of it. So I'm going to get some stuff off this page, even though I'm going to be creating a new one in a second here. But the first thing to do is take a look at your PDF, open it in some sort of PDF viewer. And that's what I've got here. If you want to know the size of this PDF and you want to match, maybe you want to match the Visio page size to this, which is what I've done already. But to get there, you would go, actually, let me go PDF plan, go to File, Properties. And if you go here, you can see down here page size. It's 42 by 30 inches in this case. Tells you that on the properties of this. Another thing you might want to make note of too would be the drawing scale if it's noted on the drawing. And down here you can see I've got a graphic scale. I happen to know that this is going to be 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. Zoomed in earlier and saw that. So that's good information to know when you're using this tool. The other thing, while you're here, you might want to decide which layers. As long as the layers are displaying here inside of your viewer, you can turn layers on and off to kind of get an idea of what you want this to display when it goes into Visio. Maybe you don't want call outs or you don't want certain things, and if they're on a layer, you can at least here view them and note the names of the ones you'll want to turn off later through our tool. Very good view here. So let me go ahead and close that now, and let's use the tool. So under add-ins here along the top, there's a D-Tools menu. It's always been there, but what's here in this list now is insert a PDF background. Let's go ahead and do that. We click this. This is just some basic instructions here. Of course, if you go to our support site, we've got full instructions out there. Let me go ahead and hit continue. Browse to my file. We'll go here, go to PDF plan. And this is going to upload that file to the cloud and then display that in this insert PDF background interface here. So Now, you could insert multiple pages at a time if you wanted to. This particular PDF only has one page here, so we'll select it. But you could be selective over here if it was a list. That's a very nice feature there. You could give it a name. The page is going to be created for this. You know, we could say that this is first and second floor plan. The page type here is definitely going to be a plan view, but we do give you the option for elevation or line. Generally, you're going to probably do plan for dropping the icons on. Measurement unit in our case is inches, but of course you could change that if that's not what your PDF was drawn in. Now, we can use the Visio drawing page size. In my case, my template that I chose was 42 by 30, or we could just tell to use the PDF size, or we could use a custom size. We give you the flexibility there. Now, if you are planning to do this to scale, if knowing the scale would, of course, be important. Like I said, we saw that earlier here. I'm going to go ahead and choose 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. You do want to take this size to fit page off. That's just a default sitting down there. For those that don't care about scale, they just want to get a PDF into Visio that fits on the page, so they can drop icons on and get that over to you know, a subcontractor or to their guys in the field. You certainly do not have to do this to scale. But again, the cool part of this is you can do it to scale if you want to. But if you are concerned with scale, uncheck this box, and that's what I just did there. Couple more things in here. Now, again, the default would probably be the user title background. If you guys don't know what that is, that's this thing around here. I do want that on my page, but if there, for some reason you didn't want it, if maybe it was going to overlap, you could choose, you know, a new title block and then remove it if you wanted to. Here's where you can turn off layers in the PDF. So this is matching what we saw over in that that viewer, the PDF viewer a second ago, where I can come in here and choose which ones I want to turn off. So if I want to turn off some things here, I'm just going to go through this list. And all these text, get rid of the text and the notes and the dimensions. So I just selected some here. Hit OK. It'll give you a quick preview of what we just did, of turning off certain things around that particular PDF. And you can choose whether or not you're automatically going to lock the PDF background layer. Now, you can always unlock it later. I'm going to go ahead and leave it locked, and then I'll show you how to unlock it. I think that's important to show you, of course. And last but not least, it's rare that you would need to do this, but if for some reason we saw it in our testing, the PDF looks reversed here, like a mirror image, you can choose to reverse the images of your pages. Rare, but it has happened. Not all PDFs are created equally or in the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and hit insert and get this into Visio. And it's going to convert that down. It's going to come in, give it a sec. And now this has been inserted in. You can see it created a page here called first and second floor plans. And this is automatically locked down. That's what I told it to do in that Windows setting. But what if I say, whoa, I need to shift this over to the left because I'm going to be doing a nice big legend along the right-hand side of it. That's my preference. That's what I want. Well, you can unlock it at any time. So if you go to the Home tab here in Visio, go to Layers and Layer Properties. And I only have one layer in here right now. It's a PDF background. So we automatically create a layer for you and call it PDF background. It is locked. You can unlock that. You can take this and shift it, put it where you want it, wherever it's going to make you happy. And then just remember to go lock that again, because you're not going to want to drop a bunch of icons and shapes over here and then accidentally do that. That's bad. You don't want it to move. Now, this is a foreground page. You know, you've seen probably in previous videos that we've used background pages for floor plans. You could turn this into a background page if you want to. If, for instance, I wanted separate foreground pages for both of these floors, but I need one for the audio video equipment. I want one for my lighting, and I want one for my CCTV, but I don't want to insert this multiple times. You can always convert this, if you'd like, into a background page. It just defaults to a foreground. But back to my point, lock this down once you're happy with it and go to Layers, Layer Properties, hit that lock again, and you're good to go. Now it's locked on the page. You can also crop this image if you want. So, of course, you'd want to unlock that just to show you. I mean, again, Layer Properties, unlock it. Like, for instance, if I wanted to crop out the stuff here at the bottom, I don't need that. I just need it to go up to here. When you have this selected, a format tab here, and there's a crop tool. You click this, and then you can choose what you want to do, and drag this up and crop the image should you choose to do that. Hit after when you're done, and click off of it essentially, and it now has been cropped. And again, what do you want to do? Let's lock our layer properties, and lock. Hit OK. And that's the new PDF converter feature. I did see a note over here that someone wanted to show the collapse all package feature too. So yes, someone already looked at our list of features. I did forget to show this earlier. There's a couple settings for this actually. So I use my keyboard shortcuts to collapse this grid all the time. And we've always had expand all and collapse all sitting out here. I would say learn these. Control Shift down and up does what I was doing here. Expand all, collapse all. But what's new out here is the ability to collapse all packages within a project. That's a nice feature. Just if you might want everything expanded except for your packages, which packages could have a ton of stuff in them depending on how you build your packages. A real big feature of packages is the ability to summarize those on client reports. So a package could be all the little nuts and bolts and pieces for this particular wire assembly or what's going into a room, and I don't want to show those details. That's a nice feature of packages, but you also may not want them displayed here. If there's 100 connectors in a package, this grid can get pretty long. So now you can collapse all your packages here. Another feature or another setting actually that is also a part of this new release has to do with this collapsing. Under your project settings here, if we go to, let's see, where am I at? Project Editor. So collapse all items on Project Editor open is a new setting out here. You can choose yes, and it will keep them collapsed when you open your project editors. Some people prefer that, so they just don't open up to a huge big list out here. So cool new setting there as well, and that has to do with the collapsing. And those are the features that I have to show you in this new R3 release. And yeah, thank you for attending.